There was initially sort of a bit of trepidation. There's always a bit of trepidation when you start any movie. There's always that question, which I think you should have in your mind, is can I do this? Am I right? Can I handle the challenges? And I think you bring yourself up to those challenges by questioning yourself all the time. But no, I don't think we were afraid of it. We were just so thrilled. The two of us were big Hitchcock aficionados. Richard had an encyclopedic mind. He could remember everything. But in film school at USC, I did a thesis on Vertigo, and Richard organized the Hitchcock Festival, which was probably one of the first, most complete festivals that I think had occurred up to that point in time. So we had the prints of all the Hitchcock films in our hands, some of the best studio Technicolor prints, and we analyzed them backwards and forwards. So we felt we were fairly knowledgeable, and it probably could not have been in better hands than Richard's, because he knew that film backwards and forwards to such a degree that he assumed a lot more. He left me with a sequence that I could not figure out, and he was in Australia and I couldn't get a hold of him. And it wasn't until the light bulb finally went off in my head and I realized that the scene had been shot in a way that it was virtually an exact replica of a scene in Psycho. And there was this when Norman sees Mother in the window when he's painting the motel. He looks up and then he goes inside and he goes to her room, and the room is fully dressed and set, and as she left it, with her imprint in the bed. And he opens her wardrobe and finds her dresses there, and then it ends, I think, with him ending up in the attic, getting locked in the attic.
Yeah. And that great shot that comes from the window.
Yeah, which was a process shot. There was actually a mat around the window, the oval window.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a studio. Inside, it's a set, and the outside is actual crane shot on the house going down. So basically, the window was used as a mat, a traveling mat, to mask the blending of the two locations. But initially, we stayed with the cut as it was, and then we realized we're beginning a new film. We can't linger with Janet Leigh's body. I mean, it's basically a setup. It's not meant, But boy, did we get attacked for cutting the ending of the blood going down the drain, the eyeball, and all that. There's another minute or minute and a half of film time at the beginning of our movie. We couldn't afford it. We had to get into the story, which was basically 22 years later. Well, as I said, the studio did not know the ending. The last 5 pages of the script were withheld from the scripts that were distributed. It wasn't until we screened it that and I don't know how we got away with this. But I think we shortly realized, and probably took the lessons from Hitchcock, that you create your own word of mouth. And I remember hearing the scuttle was, the movie's really good. And I know that came from nowhere but ourselves. Because we sent it out, because there was this huge, yourself, there's this huge fan base out there. People would have killed to get to sneak onto the set, to sneak into the screenings of dailies, or even the finished film before it was released. And I was editing with headphones because I couldn't allow the sound of the dialogue to carry down the hallway for fear that somebody would pick it up and it would be released and we'd blow our ending. Hilton was the executive producer and Bernard Schwartz was the producer. Hilton, I think we mostly related to Hilton, and Hilton was one of the nicest people you could possibly imagine working with. A delight, an utter delight to work with. He, of course, had been assistant director on the television stuff and on Psycho, so he was there. So if you ever had a question, just talk to him.
Yeah.
Of course, Richard had brought Hitchcock down to USC. Hitchcock found out that we were organizing this festival, called Richard, offered to come down. Richard interviewed him on stage at the school, and later on Hitchcock invited him to the set of Topaz. So Richard got to see him at work, and also because of that experience was instrumental in helping resurrect the original ending of Topaz, which was discovered later on, years later. And so when they did the DVD, Richard got involved with the Academy historians who were finding the material. Tom has a small role in the movie.
Yeah. He's deputy something.
He used to be a soap actor. I remember when I first met him at Hilton's office at Universal. I walked in and I recognized him immediately because I used to remember him from the '60s, from coming home from school and just turning TV on and seeing his face. But I remember his name was, he had a theatrical name, Tom Fielding, because there was another Tom Holland, I think, in SAG, and
can't wait to dig those up.
So he was Tom Fielding. He was in he played Anthony Perkins, Anthony Quinn's son in a movie called A Walk in the Spring Rain,
Right.
with Ingrid Bergman. I know that he worked really hard on it and put his soul into it, and I think he felt. I felt that he deserved more praise for his work, and for him it was always a struggle to get the recognition that he deserved, even in his native country. And as I said, I think because basically he was doing thrillers here, it became hard for him to get a reputation beyond that. When he went back to Australia, he definitely made a break from it when he decided he was going to do theatrical adaptations, and he went on to do a number of films that completely outside of the genre, and quite a few of them I thought were really good.